You can actually win that by just essentially going in game and taking some cool pictures with the skybox or filters that went in with the skybox update, and they're waving at you, by the way. So yeah, we're gonna just jump into this. So obviously when it comes down to it, Slayer, as we know, is a 99 skill. It's now going to become, alongside DG and Invention, will be our third 120 skill. So why Slayer as a pillar of the Menaphos update?
Well, basically, like, I think this first came up like 2 or 3 years ago. It was suggested internally, and like, Slayer's consistently been one of our most popular updates. You know, again and again, it's like what players really react strongly to. And then in the last player poll we did at the end of the year, where we asked you what content you wanted for the year, we put 120 Slayer in there, and it scored really highly. So it just felt like something we have to do. It's been a long time coming, I think, and I think it has a deserved place. Like of all the skills that we could take to 120 first, I think Slayer's a really strong contender for doing that with.
So how has that journey been? Obviously, since you mentioned since first announcing, obviously trying to work it into the content. Obviously, this is the first time we've had a skill which has been in game for as long as it has, but is now being upgraded to a 120. So obviously, there's a lot of things that come with that. We'll cover them as we go on. But I mean, how has that process been?
Stressful. So stressful.
It's obviously
it's been really good. Like there's been a lot to do. Like it's such a prestigious thing. It's like to like update a skill like this, but oh my god, like the amount of work that's gone into it has been pretty immense.
All right, so we're going to just rattle these off here. So first of all, we have a question from Nirvanka. How are you planning to provide people who feel they've already completed Slayer at 99 and gained that sense of accomplishment, a sense that this expansion of the skill is not a burden and that their accomplishment is not being taken away from them?
So alongside like raising the skill cap, we're introducing like some new content. We're not going to mention all of it. We're going to keep some of that back for release date. Sure. But yeah, like I think there's enough new in there that like there should be new stuff for you to experience and hopefully get involved in, where it doesn't feel so much a burden.
All right, so obviously we're going to have to jump into, because I think it's the best way to start off, which is the Slayer dungeon. So obviously you have to tell us about this brand new Slayer dungeon. I believe we have some concept art bring up of this as well. So take us through this. Should be on this TV right here in a moment. All right, there we go. Go for it.
This is the lovely wall kit that I have to work with. This was mainly to do with the top half, because there may be a little bit more than you expect. But this is the sort of forgotten tombs. And then this is the second half to the very forgotten tombs, which is slightly rotten with lots of dead, lovely stuff.
All right, so I believe, okay, so here's a big thing right here. So obviously, I think we covered this in the Road to Menaphos video, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Slayer dungeon being in Sophonim. Why Sophonim?
Well, we decided to put it in Sophonim because it makes more sense to the story, to RuneScape anyway. So it's the City of the Dead, isn't it?
Yeah, City of the Dead.
It makes more sense that that everyone is buried there, basically.
Yeah. So obviously we look at these Slayer dungeons. We've had, our dungeons in the past with Slayer creatures and stuff like that. What makes it stand out from the rest?
So I think the biggest thing, which we've talked about before, is the loot chest. So this is a central pillar of the update. So all of your loot that as you kill the mobs, all of that loot is going to go automatically into this chest. So you don't have to worry about picking it up. You don't have to worry about managing your inventory. You don't have to go, do I pick this item up, like in exchange for food, whatever like that. Everything is compiled. So at the end of the task, you can just pick it all up in one go and take it away with you.
Could you save it and then come back for another task and get all the loot from that as well?
Yep, you can keep coming. You can come here off task as well. You can just keep accumulating all that loot, and hopefully, like when you do cash it out, you'll have that big number. And we've put the number on the interface as well, so you can see how.
Oh, so you have a value number as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely. All right, so we also have, of course, a number of monsters, in this. So I believe, what kind of monsters are we expecting now? What types? I mean, what levels to tiers, or even what loot?
So there's going to be 12 new Slayer monsters.
Okay.
Over 2 Slayer tasks. So 6 in each one. The first task is corrupted monsters, and these are your typical desert creatures that have been corrupted by this energy that is seeping up from under Sophonim and Menaphos, corrupting everything around it. So these are your scorpions, lizards, dust devils, calphites, all these sorts of creatures. And then your second task, you've got Soul Devourers, which we first introduced in the Halloween
event.
2015 event, I believe, or 2016. I can't remember which one. And these were a bit more powerful, and these are basically under a mascot's control.
All right, so
2015, yeah, there we go.
Halloween 2015, excuse me.
Right, look at that dust devil right there. How cute is that?
It's adorable.
Wow, there you go. So if we're looking at loot, okay, are we able to mention levels for these?
So the Slayer level starts at level 88,
right,
and it goes all the way up to 117 as the top creature.
All right, so 12 different types of creatures spread out from 88 to 117. Yeah. Okay, there you go. I don't know if you can mention loot, but I imagine obviously the loot would kind of escalate a little bit based on the level of that creature as well.
Again, like as you go up the levels, like the standard of the loot is going to increase. It's just going to get better and better the more you go up.
Awesome. All right, so question from O'Clock. Any lore drops from the new Slayer creatures?
Not from the Slayer creatures, but there will be, so I think there's 5 lore books from the boss.
Okay. Awesome. All right, so obviously players are going to want certain questions in regards to XP rate and GP rate, so let's just jump into this.
Okay.
How will their XP rates compare to what we have in the game currently right now? Because obviously that's going to be a real pain to come up against. Okay,
so we're not planning on pushing up the XP rates massively. The top end mobs like your Ripper Demons and stuff like that already kind of have your 120 Slayer rates. So, I mean, they're about 600, 700k XP per hour in Slayer XP. So we're probably, at the very top end, we're going to probably push that up to about 750k.
Okay.
But the entry level mobs are, I think, around 400k an hour. So you'll have that, again, you'll have that gradient. That's like a common theme. Like, as you go in, the deeper the dungeon you go, the more rewarding it becomes.
And obviously, GP rates as well.
GP rates, we had some time trials earlier today done, and probably looking between 3 and 4 mil an hour for most of the mobs.
All right. So in regards to, I guess, I think we can call it the junk table and then their rare drops. I mean, what are we looking at here for this as well?
So this is built very much around the Ascension Dungeon model.
Sure.
So for most of the Slayer mobs, they're going to be dropping like the keys are your standard drops, and then you're going to use the keys, and then you can sell them to the people who want to fight the boss. We also have a new item called Vital Spark, which is what you're going to use to create some new sigils.
So do you want to elaborate what these sigils are, or are we going to keep quiet on that one? Since you've just said we're going to have new sigils, that's always interesting.
I'll reveal one of them.
Okay.
So we're going to
How many are there, first of all?
There's going to be 3 new ones.
Sure.
So one of them is called Limitless, and basically it allows you to use threshold abilities while under the 50% requirement.
How long?
It'll be active for 6 seconds. So it's a very short space of time, but I hope
so theoretically, like ultimate,
ultimate,
and then activate your sigil straight into your threshold.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. That's going to make things.
PogChamp.
That's going to make things very interesting. Okay, so when it comes to Slayer, obviously we have to look at the creatures that are currently in game. For example, we have our Abyssal Demons, Air Roots, and Dark Beasts, etc., etc. Are we touching them at all with this Slayer update when it comes out with Menaphos?
So the answer is no. I think in the earlier dev diaries, we mentioned that we potentially would be, but after looking at it, we decided to instead balance the new mobs all around these, because we don't want it to, like, if you like doing an Abbey Demon task or a Dark Beast task or whatever, we don't want you to suddenly become something you want to put on your block list. So
all right.
When we do the mining and smithing rework, we may have to rework drop tables then and look at changes for that, but for now, we're not going to be nerfing any of those monsters.
Question from Salix RS, excuse me. Will the new Slayer boss count for the Reaper title like the Legionnaires do?
Yes, it will.
Cool.
There's something probably worth mentioning actually about the Slayer boss, in that on launch, the doors to the boss are going to be closed off.
Okay.
And basically, I think probably about 2 weeks later, we're going to open those doors up. And the reason is that we want the keys to enter the market. We want them to build up. We want people to be able to prepare. Additionally, for the items that the boss will drop, there are other items that you will need. So this will allow you time to gather those items. I'm trying to be really vague.
You're very vague about this.
But basically, the boss will be coming a few weeks after release.
Awesome. All right. So I believe we have murals to show up now. I've got something that says mural show on screen. If that means anything, probably not. Okay, that's fine. All right. So we'll go on. So Iron Man in Slayer Dungeon. How beneficial is this for them?
As beneficial as any other Slayer dungeon, I'm going to guess.
So there's no direct restrictions for them or anything like that. They can just go in and do it.
No. There's no restrictions. I'm trying to think. There's a few decent items on the drop table. There's some summoning items like cactus spines and stuff that might be useful to people.
Don't mention the item.
Just one.
Just one. All right. So are there any time-based mechanics in the soft name Slayer dungeon? Is there anything they need to be aware of in regards to time relations or anything like that inside there?
No, I think again this comes from RuneFest where we just threw out a load of ideas of what we'd love to do, but we've decided to keep it simple. We put more time into making the boss as refined as possible and the additional secret Slayer content that we're not going to talk about.
Awesome. So just looking at, are there any mechanics to prevent overcrowding in the softening Slayer dungeon? Which is probably a fair point because obviously if you have a lot of players there, it might get very busy. Is there anything? Is there anything in for that?
No,
there isn't.
No, it's one of those things. We expect it to be busy, but we'll see how it goes. We can change the respawn rates dynamically, so we may look at doing stuff like that if there's an issue.
Sure.
But hopefully there's enough worlds and enough spawns that it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
So in regards to the boss, what levels are we looking at for this, or do you want to hold back on that one?
Keep that back. It's going to have a Slayer level requirement though to attack it. It's going to be reasonably high.
All right. So I believe I'm not Blanche. I'm not too sure if you're going to join Days on this one, but are we going to head on? I'd like you to get ready to show off the stuff. If you want to head over them, that'd be awesome. So they're going to get a little bit of gameplay up in just a few moments for you, for everyone watching the stream. So I've got a little bit of stuff that obviously has come up from then, but in the meantime, keep your questions coming in. We'll try and answer what we can. I do have to say, though, we've had a lot of questions, because obviously this is quite a topic to talk about, because 120 Slayer, obviously, a lot of players are very passionate about this. So I believe, so by all means, please keep them coming in, but I believe we are good to go. So we're going to throw it over to Mod Days and Mod Blanchy now, and they're going to show you a little bit of gameplay from the upcoming Slayer stuff. Take it away, guys.
All right, then. So this is the entrance to the Slayer dungeon, and first thing you see as soon as you come in is this loot chest. So nice, big and bold. See it straight away there. Something we haven't mentioned so far is that you're going to be able to toggle the auto-collect thing. The reason for this is your Bone Crusher and items like that won't work while your loot is auto-collected. So you can toggle your loot off, then it will drop on the floor, but that then means that your Bone Crushers and your other items, herbicides, items like that will be able to work. Just seeing in the chat, cannons can't be placed. And we're just going to run in a little bit. So the first mob you see, Corrupted Scorpions, which are level 88. Let's just have a little run around. Is there anything you want to talk about in the environment?
Well, you can obviously tell it's very dark and very moody.
Cool. We've also got a few Slayer shortcuts. Just over here. But yeah, we've got skulls around, so then we see some other mobs. We've got some corrupted scarabs, got some corrupted lizards over there. And then you'll be able to work your way around the dungeon, but once you've done it once, you'll be able to unblock some shortcuts. So this is one of the ones that we'll be able to unlock. And if we go down here, we'll see a little bit deeper into the dungeon. And again, the mood changes a little bit, the lighting's quite nice. And we've got our Gorilla Ack. How would you pronounce that?
Really?
How would you pronounce that, Charlie?
Are you actually? Oh my God!
It's actually an
Is it actually
thing.
NHK?
It's AKH.
AKH. Oh, really? Okay. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, so have fun pronouncing that, Shawnee. But yeah, so we've got gorillas. I'm not going to show you any of the other mobs in here, but yeah, that's the sled. What I will do is I'll come back up here and I'm just going to kill a load of mobs with some cheats. Because I can't bother to fight a load of them. So what we'll do is we'll just blast out a few of that, just kill everyone.
Yeah.
And then what you can do is you can see all your loot in here, and it's just like bouncing into your chest. And then what we can do is we can load this up and we can see all of our loot that's accumulated in here. And then like what you've got is you bank all, take all, and abandon all. So you can just do that and then get on with it. And boom. I think that is everything. Do you want to talk about anything else? Do you want me to show anything else off?
How was it making it?
Oh, making this?
Yes.
Challenging. It was my first ever project to do this entirely by myself. So usually I have my mentor to help me as well. And we usually work half and half on projects. But this whole dungeon was basically all mine, which was so much
How many map squares is this? Because this looks absolutely huge.
It's 5 map squares.
Yeah, 5.
So what's that equivalent to, if you have any ideas?
I have no idea off the top of my head.
It's fine. Yeah, it looks
big.
pretty
It goes over multiple levels as well, so actually it's even bigger than that. So it's pretty massive.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, it was very challenging, very different, and because I got to do this all myself, the whole props, the objects, I could either make myself, reuse more, or add more particles, more lighting, and like make it moodier, make it sort of not rusty, moldier, I guess, and adding a lot of wood so it looks like people are trying to get through but not really caring as much, but still a very dark and dingy place.
Awesome. All right. So I believe we're going to throw back to me if you guys come back over here. So there's a couple of things, obviously, you guys pointed out, so we'll bring them up when we can, as soon as these guys head back over here. So that was short and sweet, but obviously you saw the loot chest kind of in action with Mod Days' incredible skills there, killing monsters just like that.
Amazing, all right. Top PVMer.
All right, so we kind of touched upon the loot system at the start of the stream, and obviously how you want it to work, and obviously the concept behind it I think is really awesome. A couple things I have noticed, players have pointed out. So if you happen to get a really good drop, you get a golden bean.
Yes.
You don't see that with the loot chest. How do you tell when you've gotten a really good drop in this chest?
So certain rare drops, like the keys, will not go into the chest. They'll drop to the floor instead because we want that loot bean moment. And the other reason as well is we want you to be carrying a little bit of risk to it. So, like, you know, as you like, if you've got a load of inventory full of keys, like death should feel still risky. So they aren't going to go into the chest automatically, but all your common loot will go in there.
Cannons, can they be used there, yes or no?
Cannons, no.
No cannons.
We've blocked cannons.
All right. Does the Luck of the Dwarfs work down there at all? It does.
It does, yeah.
You seem very happy in announcing that. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Well,
I'll take that.
No,
That's fine. So I want to come to the environment a little bit, actually, because obviously it's very. I assume the mood is to kind of make it very dark and very dingy to kind of create like this death environment around there, right? So I suppose that was the intention. So was that always the intention from the start? Has it gone through different iterations? I mean, what's been the process of that?
It's definitely come from the start. We wanted the top area and the lower area to be almost completely separate, but now we've sort of made it so that you can sort of see when you're at the top, you can see the bottom and like sort of, but not a lot, obviously. But then when you're at the bottom, you can still see where you've come from. So you can see where you've been and you can look up for where you like fell off or jumped down.
So obviously taking advantage of, I imagine, NXT's draw distance for that one then.
Definitely.
Okay. So how's it been kind of working with, like, because you obviously mentioned about the environmental effects you wanted to try and do and stuff like that, but how's it been? Was it always that approach you want to take when it came to creating the environment for it, or have you gone through different approaches or anything like that?
It's been very creative freedom for me. So the main things that I had to focus on is dark, dingy, a lot of space and height. So that was literally the only things that I needed to work from. So I could do anything with that. So it came through pretty much the same, like, way I've planned it, really. So, which is good. It's technically really good.
Reassuring. That's
No,
good.
it didn't break like a ton of times, thankfully.
Yeah, it's good. We've had a couple of player visits as well, and people have like really reacted well to the environments. Like, we got them to score like various parts, and it was really nice seeing like environment being like rated like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 sort of thing. So yeah.
All right, so a couple of things as well. If you die, will you still keep everything that is accumulated in your loot chest?
Something similar to how, you know, when you die and you have to pay a cost to death to reclaim your items, the same will happen with this chest. You'll have to pay a certain amount to reclaim it.
Does that go up based on the value? Or
Based on the value of what's in the chest. So, yeah, if you die, you can choose to pay the cost and get your items back, or you can say no to paying it and then it'll wipe the chest. But while you have a debt to pay, it won't auto-collect any loot if you carry on killing mobs in the dungeon.
Gotcha. Are they able to see the chest before paying for it? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know off the top of my head.
That's fine. Just one thought that came to my head.
I don't think so at the moment.
Gotcha. All right. So, if they happen to hit max value on it,
God, you are pretty damn amazing.
will it still keep counting up?
So, it acts as an inventory, so you can have 2.1 billion of every single item in there.
Oh, there we go then.
So, you know, if you fill your chest, then, like, yeah, wow.
All right. With loot being picked up in a chest, what impact will that have on items that are essentially going into that chest? So essentially, you know, the supplies that are being dropped, what impact is it going to have on these items as a result of the auto pickups?
So we've tried to be quite tactical with the items. So we've like chosen like alcohols. We've not added any herbs, seeds, or logs. Kind of with logs, because we've added a new item called corrupted magic logs.
Okay.
Which are basically the same as magic logs, but you get no resource out of them. So if you fletch these, they'll turn into no resource. And it's a little bit of an experiment that me and Mod Timbo want to do of like trying not to do as many skill-in items in drop tables. So if you actually want to get a product out of it, you'll have to buy magic logs, and they'll have to come from skillers. But these corrupted magic logs, they will do exactly the same, but you won't get any product at the end of it. And in the case of bonfires, you get half the bonfire boost.
Awesome.
Don't kill any trees as well, which is all good.
And
You don't have to kill any trees. Sorry, it's reassuring. Excuse me. So in regards to Slayer in the Softening Dungeon, is there any other impact or any other areas in Menaphos that are affected by Slayer in any way?
No.
Or is it just focused
we've
towards...
contained it all within this area.
Awesome.
Like, we wanted to just make this like really nice experience. Like, we wanted the environment to tell a story, and it's all leading to a section. Like, you see, it's like it starts there, and like as you go down, the environment gets darker and more eerie, until you like reach the end of it.
Will there be new rewards from Slayer Masters that can be purchased with Slayer points?
Yes, there will. There will be a new Slayer helm upgrade.
Oh my god. Oh boy. Okay. Are you going to reveal said details of this upgrade?
Sure, why not? It's a level 80 version.
So just to clarify, the previous one, the current one is
level 70.
So this one. Wow. Okay.
So this one will be level 80.
Wow. All right. Is there any new additions you can put on it, or is it still you cap it out with the additions that you put on there already?
It's going to act exactly the same as the other Slayer helms, but you can't just upgrade it with Slayer points. You're going to need an item from the dungeon as well to complete it.
Do I dare ask, was it the item I saw in your backpack?
Are they the feathers?
Yes.
No, you don't need feathers.
Okay.
We can talk about the feathers.
I've never seen that. And people obviously showed it in your backpack. Players were saying, "Well, what's that he's got on there?" Do you want to talk about that now?
Yeah, sure. Why not? They are. I had to look up the pronunciation earlier. So they are feathers of Mahad. I can only say it in that voice. I can only say it in that voice because
you have to do that voice. You have to do that voice every time.
I can only do it in that voice because I watched a video that explained how to pronounce it. And I can't say it without doing the voice.
Amazing. We have to do that all the time now.
Mod Joe in the video we did last week, he said feathers of Ma, and that's just not right. It's Mahad.
Oh God.
Brilliant.
Amazing. Oh my. All right. So.
I haven't even explained what they do yet.
Yeah. No, you haven't. Have you? No, you're fair point.
Cool. So all the mobs that are in this dungeon, they are corrupted by a mascot, so they can't die. So you kill them. So these feathers will. I want to say it again. These feathers basically allow them to pass on into the afterlife. So you'll need one of them for each enemy that you kill.
While on task, or
All the time.
all the time.
And these feathers will come from shifting tombs. So the
I
skillers,
see.
can supply the PVMers.
So you can sell these feathers then.
Yeah, so
Right.
there's a nice little ecosystem going on through Menaphos, so like it all feeds into each other.
All right, interesting. So we have to talk about. We kind of touched upon obviously 99 to 120. Do we want to clarify just again, because I'm sure many people know about the Comp Cape amnesty in regards to 120 Slayer, but do
Yeah,
we want to
sure.
clarify that as well?
Yeah, sure. So there is a 3-month amnesty period from the date that this goes live. So
June 4th,
we
isn't
go
it? Yeah.
live June 5th. So
Sorry, I know my dates well.
September 5th, I imagine, or the update probably after that date will be when we add the Slayer 120 requirement on.
So essentially, if you have a Comp Cape and you're not 120 Slayer, when Menaphos goes live, you'll retain Comp Cape until, unless you
Exactly.
don't have it, don't have 120 by that
exactly, yeah.
date.
The update after that is the September the 11th.
So yeah, it'll probably be on that
September
date.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so
But yeah, so like in the chat, people are saying why. It's just because with Menaphos, like this being the first expansion, we're putting so much content into it, and there's so much to do that we didn't actually want to just force players to feel that they can't go and explore, that they're forced into just staying in the Slayer dungeon or doing Slayer tasks until they hit that Slayer 120 again. So this just gives you that time period where you can actually enjoy the expansion and take a bit of time to explore the city and do all the other things that we've released, rather than just being forced into 120 Slayer to get comp back as fast as possible.
So is it only the Softening dungeon that has the post-99 Slayer creatures in there, or is there anything else in the world now that has extra Slayer content to go with it?
For now, we have kept all the additional content in the Softening Player dungeon. Totally forgot what the name was. There's Hydrix Dragons as well. For everyone, like, lols about them. Once Menaphos goes live, I am going to look at buffing the drop table, because, like, you know what, like, your feedback really hurt me.
Gemstone.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's fine.
Gemstone Dragons, just for context, in case some people are not quite sure what Daze is talking about there. Because obviously, you know, there was back and forth on that one. Does the amnesty cover the other completionist requirements that come out with Menaphos? Does the amnesty only focus on 120 Slayer, or does that amnesty also cover... So are you given 3 months to do all the Menaphos completion requirements as well, or is it only just a 120 Slayer?
Good question. I'm not actually sure. I can check and clarify.
Cool.
I haven't actually been following that recently.
That's cool. All right. So we've covered new additions to the Slayer Reward Shop. I'm just getting through more questions here. We've mentioned how the Slayer Helm's going to scale up to level 80. Is that correct? The Slayer Helm going to level 80,
The Slayer
yes.
Helm goes to level 80, yeah.
Is there anything in regards to co-op Slayer that's new or anything like that being touched with this? Can you do co-op Slayer on those tasks?
Yeah, you can do co-op on those tasks. We haven't added anything new with this update, but yeah.
All right. Currently, you receive 14,554 experience at level 99 from a regular Jack of Trades or experience book. With the increase for people that have, for example, level 100 plus in Slayer, does it stay the same as it is right now at level 99, or does that number then go up?
I had to check this earlier because I'd forgotten about this and hadn't checked it, but it will go up to 120,
There you
so
go.
like, the XP will increase.
So obviously the question comes into it. This is where we're going to go through many of our finite level XP changes here.
Yeah,
Tears
yeah.
of Guthix.
Tears of Guthix will scale just like it does to DG, so if Slayer is your lowest skill, past however it works, yeah, it works. I can't be bothered to explain it.
Prismatic Stars,
They cap out at 99.
same as the lamps.
Yep, like that's the same for Dungeoneering, so we haven't changed anything
Sure.
there.
And Slayer Dummies. What about Slayer Dummy XP?
Slayer Dummies, again, they cap out at 99.
Okay.
And that's how a lot of the Treasure Hunter stuff works, so we haven't like touched it or changed it.
So, as mentioned, I believe last stream, there's a constant 5% XP bonus in the city.
There is, yeah.
Does that apply inside the Softening dungeon?
Yeah, it does.
It does apply. Cool. Just wanted to get that out of the way as well. Also, actually, something that's just come to my mind. So, what happens to the high scores from this update? Is it the first one to log in gets, up there in the thing?
This was like my panic, like way back when. But we ran a test and we spoke to like the web team, and there's a timestamp attached to your XP value, so it knows when you hit that XP in the high score. So as soon as the update happens and the high score system updates as well, all the high scores will be retained. So everyone will retain their rank.
Whew. And everyone can breathe a sigh of relief.
It's not going to be like quickest to log in, log out again.
There we go.
Nothing like that.
So nothing to worry about on that one. All right, a couple more general Slayer questions. We've obviously covered the new sigil. If you want to clarify what that one sigil you revealed was again.
Yeah, so this is the Limitless sigil, and what it does is it allows you to use threshold abilities under the 50% adrenaline requirement for 6 seconds.
Cooldown?
I think that's 1 minute 30. So it's got a reasonable cooldown, but it is pretty powerful, like if used in the right situation.
Obviously, as you saw in the chat from JD there, we're going to be looking at Completionist in the final stream, which is, I believe, on May the 30th.
Sorry, before I go on, someone just asked, like, does it still have the 15% adrenaline cost? Yeah, it still has the 15% adrenaline cost.
Yeah, cool.
But that just means that you can just stack them all up if you want.
All right, so I'm going to switch it over to Blanche a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about, because obviously, we've kind of showered more days of pretty much all the Slayer stuff. I know this is a 120 Slayer stream, but I'm just curious, obviously, in the project, you've obviously not just been involved in Slayer, but obviously the other stuff that's happened in Menaphos. Obviously, if you can't answer your favourite one, is this a spoiler or whatever, but what are some of the favourite stuff you've worked on?
Surprisingly, recently I've been doing a lot of gardening.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been adding a lot of plants, a lot of bushes, a lot of gardens. That's like trees and stuff like this. I don't know why, but that was my favourite part. I don't know. I really don't know why. It's just like, this is.
Was it an escape, maybe?
Probably. It's coming to the end of the project, and where I'm just sort of getting to that moment.
Okay, that's interesting.
Something that people enjoy is Mod Stu. We roped him in for a day.
Examines.
And he has been all over the examines.
Yes, thank goodness, that's awesome. Although I feel that localization may now have the RAF ready for that one.
It's fine, it's fine. They can do a day's overtime for Stu, can't they?
That's asking a bit much.
Oh God!
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Oh God! Oh man! And Modker is saying that he can confirm it has been stewed. Is that what we're calling it? But it's pretty awesome. But obviously, if there's anything else that I might have missed, do you want to clarify? By all means, do. Have I missed anything? Because obviously it's quite an expansive topic to try and cover.
Yeah. Oh God. No, I just.
Broadcasts.
Broadcasts.
So is the 120 Slayer broadcast, is it still a world broadcast, or is that changing?
It will be the same as the... Oh, I don't actually know. I think it'll be the same as the Invention one.
So global?
Potentially. Maybe.
What?
I don't know.
That's interesting.
I did this like back in January, so I really can't remember. I haven't looked at it.
Was that like one of the first things you added?
Yeah. Like I
quick
shifted the
things?
skill to 120. That was like the first job I did, so I haven't looked at it for a long time.
Curse is saying global. That's interesting.
Oh, global.
I don't know. That's interesting, making it global, I have to say. But, that's fair enough. We clarify Iron Man limitations. There are no Iron Man limitations regards to 120 Slayer or anything like that, right? So they can just go in and obviously
they can do
carry
whatever
on.
they want, yeah.
Excuse me. What are your thoughts on 120 Slayer impacting combat level, combat-based skill level max, and equipment related to higher tiered Slayer?
Don't think it should impact combat level, because it's just like Slayer goes alongside combat. I don't think it really aids you. What were the other two?
The skill level max, obviously we are essentially getting a base level increase now from 2715 to now I believe would be, because it's
27
numbers, I can't do math, I'm crap at it. And then we have...
2736.
That. And then we have obviously equipment. So, I mean, do we see 120 Slayer then being used as a chance to introduce new equipment and stuff like that? We're already doing it, of course, with the Tier 80 Slayer helm, but is there more opportunities for that?
So, the Combat Council, and like we spoke about this a while back, and I think that's something we're potentially going to look at in the future. I don't think we're going to do it with. We're not doing it with this update, but it's definitely like an avenue we can explore in the future. So maybe you need to kill a Slayer mob with a 110 requirement, but like the gear it drops also has a 110 Slayer requirement. Attach some prestige to it.
Obviously, as well, for everyone in chat, please by all means keep asking away what you can. We'll try and pick up what we can and go from there. Bit of a combat general question, but will you raise the cap on Tusker's Wrath from 12k to 30k?
We haven't, because like it's 1,000%, 10,000% of your Slayer level, Tusker's Wrath. So it'll hit the 12k cap when we go to 120, so it should be fine.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, of course, it's going to be impacted by that.
Yeah, exactly. So Tusker's Wrath will go up as well.
All right, there you go. I'm going to come back to you, Blanchy, because of the other stuff. So, in regards to Menaphos, obviously, it's been quite a drive from the art style of what it's gone with. How has it been? Well, first of all, if you don't mind explaining, what did you do prior to joining Jagex? Obviously, in the internship thing.
Oh, before here?
Yeah, and then how has that been so drastically different to here? Because obviously, getting thrown on something that we are, obviously, the expansion project, so to speak, is a big ask. I mean, how's it been kind of going with that?
Well, before here, I was at uni, so I've done 2 years at uni, which has sort of prepared me, sort of. But coming here has been very quick, fast, especially with the expansion stuff. As soon as that started, and it started getting rolling, it just kept on going, kept on going. There's no breaks. Well, there's obviously breaks, but like
there is no breaks.
I'm always here. I sleep here. But yeah, uni has not prepared me enough, but it has prepared me to the point where I'm okay. I'm not dying.
Don't die.
No, please don't.
Well, there you go. He's not dead. That's the main thing, right? So I did see a question about the Soul Wars avatar level being raised to 121 for this. I'm not too sure. I've not really dived into Soul Wars. I'm not sure on that one.
So what we've done is we've basically retained it. So if you are 99 or above, it basically just treats it as if you're 99. So we haven't tried to rewrite the skill. Basically, just means it'll be easier to hit that 99 level.
Okay, so are there any new Slayer pets with this?
No, we haven't done any new Slayer pets. We've had an expansion to make.
That's fair.
Question I've seen
by all means, go ahead.
is 120 Slayer remote, and yes, we are making a new Slayer remote.
Well, there you go. That's interesting. Can Iron Men gain feathers in shifting tombs that they can use for the dungeon?
Yes.
And obviously they can't sell it because
they can't
get
do
it.
Iron Man.
The Road to Menaphos episode mentioned a new way to train Slayer at level 99. What is it?
So it's not exactly a new way to train. Like when we spoke to players, like way back when, like right at the very start of the project, like we put a player survey out and we got a load of opinions and everything. And people didn't really want the skill to change with like the core method of training. But what this new thing is it supplements it. So it's something to go alongside you doing your tasks. And it offers a few new rewards and some advantages for getting involved in that content. But again, I'm not going to say anything because it's one of those things we want to reveal with the expansion. We want there to be surprises on release day.
Of course, and have a bit of fun with that, but try to obviously surprise you all as well, which is always part of the fun. Someone saying, is Shawnee going to lose his job? As far as I'm aware, I wouldn't be on this couch if I had lost my job. Let's put it that way. So,
I'm going to be here in 2 weeks.
But yeah, I'm not here for the stream in 2 weeks. But that has nothing to do with what has happened. I'm just not here. So don't throw up a panic or anything like that. So someone mentioned will Ferocious Rins be able to be upgraded to Menaphos?
No, we haven't done that with this.
Is there anything changing with Slayer Masters as well? Is there a new Slayer Master maybe, or is there anything like that? How are you getting your tasks actually? Is there's
no new Slayer Master because basically the way that Morvran was designed was he has all the best tasks already. We didn't really feel that there was room, especially because we've only added 2 new tasks. So we didn't really feel there was a need, but you'll be able to get tasks from Corridel, Morvran, and from Simona.
So there's no guarantee that you can get a Menaphos Slayer task as well, or is there a way of guaranteeing that?
There's no way of guaranteeing it.
So you just have to hope and roll and,
Yeah.
you know, get a Slayer creature that's, you know, at that level, or obviously in Menaphos as well. Okay,
Yes.
interesting. Apart from that, Blanche, is there anything you want to add? Just anything in general, anything at all you want to say? Like, by all means.
I hope you guys like it.
A lot of...
We've worked so hard, so much
A lot of effort
time.
has gone into it. Yeah, so people are saying 2 new tasks, question mark. Do you want to clarify that again one more time?
Oh, yeah. So there are going to be 12 new monsters, but they're going to be spread over, so 6 monsters to each task. I don't think I really went into a lot of detail earlier, but basically the corrupted tasks are very much built around your Abbey Demons, Dark Beasts, those sort of things. So that's your Netflix and skill sort of like task where you can just sit
Did
back.
you just say, did I just hear that correctly?
Netflix and skill,
Oh,
yes.
for God's sake. Okay, I'm putting this away now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So that's basically the task that is mainly going to appeal to like those sort of people that like those tasks. You love it, don't you?
Oh, man. So, yeah, it's split into... What were the categories again? Split into...
So there's corrupted and devourers.
Devourers.
And the
Cool.
devourers are... They're not as intense as like your Ripper Demons and Mammoths, those sort of things, but they're going to have some mechanics involved, so it's going to be a bit more lean forward, but at the same time it's going to be more rewarding. But not all of them are lean forward. There is a couple which are quite laid back still. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to make it so regardless of your play style, there was something within the Slayer task that would appeal to every player type.
Are there any on-task specific drops at all with these?
There aren't on task specific, but there are increased drop rates for when you are on task. So things like
Gotcha.
the boss keys will have an increased drop rate when you're on task.
Cool. All right. I think we have gone through a ridiculous amount, if I'm honest. Goodness me. I'll make one more call for anyone to ask questions, but we're going to probably be wrapping up very shortly.
Who will host the stream when Sean
Who will
is not
host the stream
here?
when I'm not here? I'm not too sure.
It's an important question.
Maybe a mod Osborne, I'm not too sure. It's normally what mod Osborne likes to do, but I'm not too sure. Just where will there be a vendor to buy daily feathers of Maha in the city, or will it be required? It has to be a thing now. We have to make it a thing. But will there be a vendor to buy the feathers, or is it only just from Shifting Tombs?
No, there's an NPC stood right outside the dungeon entrance where you can buy feathers of my heart.
Oh God, we've started something here.
But he sells them at a bad price. So like the best way is to actually get them from other players. But like if you forget them or you just want to get in on release day and start going for it, then you can buy them.
Someone did mention actually, will the boss portal in the Max Guild can it be attuned to the new boss?
It will be when the boss goes live.
Awesome.
And
There you
the
go.
boss is going live a couple of weeks later for anyone who wasn't watching the stream earlier.
Awesome. All right. The Menaphos videos were shot in Morocco. Is that right? Morocco, yeah. They were shot in Morocco, just for someone who asked that in the chat just then. Can we spell I'm not going to try and spell it because I'm probably going to get it horrifically wrong.
It's pretty easy. It's MA''AT.
Oh, okay. Well, that was actually surprisingly easy.
It's like my hat. My heart.
My heart. Yes, there we go. You just have to say it in that voice, apparently.
Basically, this whole expansion has had me dealing with words where I don't know how to pronounce them.
Okay, one more, and this is the last one because it's boss related.
Okay.
Is it solo or is it team?
It is a solo.
It's a solo.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, there you go. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us. Just to clarify, we, of course, have another stream coming up for the Road to Menaphos, which is the final one, which will be taking place on May the 30th. And that will be covering a lot of stuff. And obviously, again, very excited because we would be a week away from release when that happens. And we have a Road to Menaphos YouTube video series that you can check out as well, where mods Joe and mod Osborne have been going through bits of Menaphos in the run-up to it. And we're going to get ready to wrap up here. And obviously, on a personal note, I'm not ending the stream myself, so I don't get to press some sort of magic button that makes everyone literally lose their mind. So thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Take care and have a good one.